80% of businesses that try to sell never do. Not because they're bad businesses, not because there aren't buyers, but because owners walk into the process believing things that buyers simply don't. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why most businesses don't sell, the silent deal killers never warn you about, and how to position your business to be in the top 20% that actually closes at the best possible terms. And fair warning, if you're emotionally attached to your valuation, this video might sting a little. So why do most businesses fail to sell? Here's what typically happens. An owner builds a solid company, strong revenue, good people, feels confident. A banker says, "You're ready." A buyer shows interest. And then the deal slowly dies. Not in one dramatic moment, but through a series of small, predictable mistakes that buyers interpret as risk. Why? Here's the core truth most owners never hear. Your business isn't worth what you think. It's worth what a buyer can confidently underwrite. And most owners don't understand what actually scares buyers. So let's break this down one deal killer at a time. Deal killer number one, unrealistic valuation expectations. Most owners walk into a sale thinking, "I deserve a premium. I want all cash. I've earned it." Here's the reality buyers live in. They don't buy stories. They buy risk-adjusted future cash flow. If you want all cash, you're almost certainly not selling to a financial buyer. Private equity survives on leverage, earnouts, and risk sharing. So when an owner says, "I'll only take all cash," what the buyers hear is, "This seller doesn't understand how deals actually work," or "This seller doesn't have confidence in the future of the business." And once that perception forms, it's almost impossible to reverse. Instead, think of it like this. The goal isn't the highest headline price. The goal is the highest probability of closing at strong terms. This is exactly the mindset I help owners adopt before they even talk to buyers. If you want to learn how buyers really think, there's a free training linked below that walks through this in detail, or schedule a call if you'd like us to work together and help you through it. Deal killer number two, owner dependence. This one kills more deals than owners realize. If you are the hub, the rainmaker, the problem solver, the final decision maker, then the buyer isn't really buying a business. They're buying a job they don't want. And yes, even if you say, "I'll stick around for a year," buyers know something owners don't like to admit. If the business needs you to function, its value drops the moment you leave. The fix is not to disappear overnight. It's systemizing decision-making, authority, and relationships before you sell. This is one of the first things we addressed in pre-sale prep, because no amount of revenue compensates for operational fragility. Deal killer number three, customer concentration. Let me say this clearly. I don't care how different your situation is. If one or two of your customers represent a large percentage of revenue, the risk still exists. Buyers ask one question: what happens if this relationship changes? And if the answer is, "Well, I don't think it will," that's not an answer, that's hope. Hope doesn't get funded. Concentration doesn't always kill a deal, but it always lowers valuation or shifts structure. Earnouts, holdbacks, contingencies. The earlier you address this, the more leverage you keep. Deal killer number four, performance drop off during diligence. This one is deadly. This is the number one reason deals fall apart after an LOI is signed. Here's what happens. The owner feels confident, perhaps overconfident. Focus shifts to the exit. Operations loosen, and suddenly EBITDA drops during diligence. The owner says, "You know what you're buying. The assets haven't changed. It'll bounce back." Buyers hear something very different. "We might be catching a falling knife." And buyers hate uncertainty and cash flow. At the end of the day, they're not buying assets. They're buying reliable cash flow. If that cash flow looks unstable, the deal is unstable. This is why preparing before going to market matters so much. Deal killer number five, we have a growth strategy. No, you don't. This conversation always sounds the same. Owner, there are so many ways we could grow. Buyer, great. Which ones have you started executing? Owner, well, we are waiting for the buyer to come in and start having those conversations. That's not a growth strategy. That's a list of ideas. Buyers want to see prioritized initiatives, clear economics, proof of execution capability. If growth is obvious but untouched, buyers assume either it's harder than you're saying or you don't know how to execute it. Neither helps your valuation. Deal killer number six, no differentiation. If your business sounds like everyone else's, buyers price it like everyone else's. Same services, same margins, same story, that's a commodity. And commodities don't get premium multiples. Differentiation isn't marketing fluff. It's why a buyer believes cash flow is more durable with you than alternatives. If you can't clearly articulate that, neither can your banker. Deal killer number seven, owner not actually committed. This one's uncomfortable. Some owners say they want to sell, but move slowly, delay decisions, second guess everything. Buyers feel that immediately. And when buyers sense hesitation, they protect themselves. Lower price, more conditions, longer timelines, or they walk. Selling a business is a full contact process. Half in doesn't work. Deal killer number 8. Low EBITDA margins, under 10%. Margins tell buyers how much room there is for error. Sub 10% margins mean less buffer, less leverage, less flexibility. That doesn't mean the business is bad, but it does mean risk is higher. Higher risk equals lower valuation. Deal killer number 9, inconsistent financial results. Some years profitable, some not. Margins all over the place. Buyers don't hate volatility, they hate unexplained volatility. If the results don't match the narrative, trust erodes fast. And once trust erodes, deals don't survive. Deal killer number 10, cyclicality. Industries tied to macro cycles like construction face a simple problem. Cash flow isn't predictable. Less predictability equals lower multiple. You can't eliminate cyclicality, but you can mitigate how buyers perceive it. That's strategy, not luck. So, how can you be in the successful 20% of business owners that do sell and not just sell for a small amount, but sell for a premium? Well, here's the big secret. Selling successfully isn't about listing your business. It's about preparing it. The businesses that sell and sell well do 3 things differently. They see their business through a buyer's lens, they remove risk before it gets priced in, and they control the narrative instead of reacting to it. That's the entire philosophy behind what I do at Presale Prep. This isn't a one-size-fits-all checklist. Every business is different, but buyers are predictable. And when you understand how they think, you stop guessing and start positioning. This is exactly what I help owners do before they ever go to market. If you're running a business doing 5 million plus in revenue and want to understand what buyers will actually care about, where your biggest hidden risks are, how to improve valuation before hiring a banker, there's a free video linked below that walks through the process. And if it makes sense, you can schedule a call to see how we'd approach your specific situation. No pressure, no hype, just clarity. Because doing nothing is usually the most expensive option of all. Remember, the owners who win on their exits don't get lucky, they get prepared. And the sooner you start thinking like a buyer, the more control you'll have when it matters most.